If you've ever dreamed of finally losing that midlife belly fat, but you haven't actually started doing anything about it yet, chances are one of these three myths is holding you back. I've heard them all a number of times from friends and family, and I used to believe them myself. But the truth is, they are all false beliefs. So stick with me today, and I'll share why switching your belief system away from these three myths can finally have that scale moving in the direction you've been wanting it to go. Okay, false belief number one: I have to eat my breakfast or my metabolism will slow down. Yes, we all grew up with the mantra that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Even if we weren't hungry before school, our mothers shoved Shreddies, Cheerios, and Cap'n Crunch down our throats because the common belief was you had to start your day with food shortly after you woke up. But here's the problem: this breakfast myth sets up our day for cravings and fat storage. Why? When you eat cereal or instant oatmeal or toast with jam, for example, that food gives a certain type of hormonal instructions to the body. And the instructions this type of food gives is store these calories as fat. Insulin rises quite sharply, actually, with cereal, bagels, toast, and instant oatmeal. And because of that, you are not able to burn fat. It's impossible to burn fat when your insulin is raised. I like to think of it this way: when insulin is high, fat loss says bye bye. Not eating breakfast? This allows your fat stores to be used. When you choose to not eat for 14, 16, 18 hours, your body now has the chance to access those hundreds of thousands of calories stored as fat. And that means you could start seeing some real results in the way your clothes feel, in the way you're able to do activities. Doing 16-8 or 18-6 fasting is also linked with something called metabolic flexibility. And this is something we all want. Being metabolically flexible means that you can easily switch from burning sugar to burning fat. When you don't eat by choice, your body turns into a powerful fat burning machine. How cool is that? When you learn to go without food for this length of time, your metabolism is revved up and firing on all cylinders. Okay, false belief number two: if I fast, I won't have any energy. Don't I need all my energy from the food I eat? Some of us were taught to eat like 6 meals a day to keep our metabolism running. I am not sure who came up with that one, because constantly stuffing our faces with food does the complete opposite. You know how it feels when you've just finished a huge turkey dinner. You're sluggish, you're tired, you want to slip into a carb coma. And grazing all day long is like eating a whole bunch of appetizers. They're not helping you eat less at dinner time. In fact, they're going to have you eating more at dinner, if not the same amount. Just think of the types of things we would reach for as well when it's snack time: crackers, cookies, sugary yogurts, low-fat muffins, all those 100-calorie foods so cleverly marketed to us. We're not reaching for hard-boiled eggs, avocado, and a piece of steak to snack on. It's going to be all the foods that are so hard to stay away from, lurking in our cupboard and in our snack drawer. Once again, think of the insulin levels staying elevated throughout the day. No wonder it's impossible to lose weight. All those small meals are blocking our fat loss, not helping us lose it. On the other hand, how would you feel when you're fasting? Well, you're mentally sharp. You're getting things done. There's no brain fog. And yes, sometimes you do get hunger pangs. But once you get adapted to intermittent fasting, you are absolutely amazed at not only how long you can go without breaking your fast, but how little you eat while maintaining huge amounts of energy. I used to be ravenous first thing in the morning, and nobody could tell me I couldn't eat. So I had a bowl of cereal. Then around 10 a.m., I would start craving something, anything to eat. So I had a huge slice of banana bread. Then lunch rolled around, and I took my bagel sandwich and my low-fat yogurt out of my lunch bag. Then, after I got home from work at around 4:30, I usually rushed to the pantry and opened a box of crackers to devour. this constant cycle of eating. And I didn't even describe the after dinner bowl of chips on the couch. This cycle of eating was full of all the wrong foods. They were loaded with carbs, sugar, and preservatives. No wonder I needed a snack. The foods I was choosing were setting me up with their low satiety ingredients to keep me needing to eat. So if you think fasting leaves you with low energy, consider this. Dr. Jason Fung uses an analogy that really hits home for me. When a lion goes without food, it's able to hunt with pure mental sharpness and focus. A lion who's just eaten will laze around for the rest of the day. Would you rather go through your morning at work like a hungry lion or a lion that's just gorged itself on food? False belief number 3. Skipping breakfast will only make me overeat later. Okay, I will say one thing about this myth. Yes, you will overeat later if you're used to burning sugar all the time. In other words, if last night's dinner was a huge bowl of pasta and an ice cream cone, well, chances are you're going to be one hangry beep all morning. However, if you learn to prioritize protein and whole foods and eating less often throughout the day, your body, that fat burning machine that's available to get to work for you right now, it has got you. Over time, you don't need to eat tons of food to be satiated when you eat the right kinds of food. Remember that story I told you about how I used to eat a carby breakfast and then carby foods for the rest of the day? Now I eat 2 meals a day. I break my fast around 11:30. I eat a big lunch, super low on the carbs. I don't snack. Then I have a big dinner with a moderate amount of carbs. Very few things come from a package. I don't eat snacks after dinner, which ends around 6:30 or 7. Okay, I didn't say there that I have a small salad and a glass of water for my meals. I eat. Prioritizing protein, whole foods, a lot less carbs, and only eating 2 times a day actually makes me less hungry. Why? Because my body has become a fat burner. It's become metabolically flexible. It can go for hours without eating, and I'm not moody, I'm not hangry, and I'm not reaching for that box of crackers. The foods I'm eating only twice a day are allowing me to stay happy, regulated, and satiated until my next meal. Amen to that. I wish I'd known this way of eating at 40. And if you think it's too late for you, it is not. I didn't start this whole lifestyle change until I was 51. It's never too late to make changes for your health. There are so many false beliefs about fasting out there, but these 3 are pretty big ones. No, fasting does not slow down your metabolism. No, fasting does not deplete your energy. And no, fasting does not make you binge food for the rest of the day. Once you get fasting right for you, in other words, once you find a length of time that fasting works for you to see real results and you discover a way of eating that serves your body properly, no, you can't eat whatever you want. We are not 20 any longer. It's a tool you can use for the rest of your life for fat loss, feeling sharp, and so many other things. If you got value from this video, check out this one where I outline the system of frameworks that finally moved the needle for a 30-pound weight loss after 50 with simple shifts in habits and mindset. I'll see you in the next one.